It is time, guys. It is time. Oh, welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope that you're having a lovely one out there. A beautiful Saturday morning for me over here. Whatever day it is, whatever evening it is for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Did I move the camera thing all the way over? Sorry, I couldn't tell if it was blocking. Anyways, you're not here to see me mess around with the camera. You're here to listen to Mike Oldfield with Crises. We're going to listen to the first track, the opening track, the 20-minute epic, released in 1983. This would be his 8th studio album that we're going to be beginning here. I actually haven't even checked. I'm pretty sure we've been moving through his albums chronologically, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I've actually missed one or not. Let's see. No, 5 miles out. Okay, so we're actually doing well. Okay, we're on the right track here. So yeah, moving on to Crises. A lot of you had suggested listening to this album. A lot of you had been looking forward to this album. Let me bring up your names real quick. Hold on. David Emery, JJ Millennium Black Shade, Martin Davies, Sheldon Howells, A Chance They Won't, Adher, Hippo, Ryan Glau, Sheldon Howells, Manhattan Man, Jay Fergs. I think you mentioned this album here. I don't know. There's a lot of names up here. Ghostlight, I See You As Well, and Jesus Laison. So thank you guys so much for the suggestions. I appreciate it. Yeah, with Mike Oldfield, it's usually going to be a good time. A couple missteps here and there, in my opinion, but overall, it's always exciting to listen to him. So I'm curious to see where his mind was in making this piece. We're going to, of course, read up on some of the information and all of that. But you know, besides all that, we're going to just jump on into the music. Of course, if you're interested, press the like button, press the subscribe button before we even get into it. If you're interested, you can also support what I do on Patreon. You don't have to, but you can. And if you do, you'll get a little bit of a... Ooh la la! I don't know, something. I don't know. I'm just having fun with my deck here. Anyways, let's go ahead and listen to the track. We'll talk about it after, everyone. Crises. Mike Oldfield. Here we go. Signal change. Okay. type of revenue. Creating a racing city. subliminal this feels. Tribally pattern. Return of the synth, like the beginning. I do love how this section comes after the previous one. Kind of building on that small melody. Quietness. That's lovely. That rising. I like how he's been using the synth to transition the last few movements. Kind of a groove to it. That ARP is getting some work in. That's a great lead in. I love how those drums just drop in at certain moments. That's great how this comes in on top of that sequencer. Right? Very Tangerine Dream kind of esque. There you go. So epic. I love that. Subtlety. Kind of Genesis. Like, that clingy metal cymbal. Coming. Come on. Listen to the drumming. Pay it off. Come on, you have to pay the debt. You have to pay the debt. You can only tease for so long. One more round. Come on. I can't do this hand motion so long. Told you. Pay the debt. have to let it just fade out the last few seconds, just in case. You never know if something's coming back. You never know if there's a final note somewhere. I don't think there is. Oh, Mike Oldfield, Crises. What do you guys think? How did you feel? How did this track make you feel in comparison perhaps to his previous ones? Where do you lie? Where do you lay? What do you think I'm going to say? Personally, I think that the second half of this song, from the what I'm going to call the Watcher and the Tower section, because that's what he's singing about, from that section onwards, I think it's like 9 out of 10. I think it's probably some of the best Oldfield music that I heard recently. I'll have to give it another listen, but I think that the second half of this track is incredibly strong, and it's very exciting to listen to. And you can definitely tell like he's solidly in this 80s playing with synths phase. Not that he wasn't before, but man, does he sound very comfortable in it and what he's building and composing in here. The first half of the track, genuinely, I would probably on a first listen go like 5 out of 10 at the moment. I'm kind of back and forth on the first section. I'll have to give it a listen again. Like, I do like how it opens up. It opens up with those synths. It brings about the idea of something epic forthcoming, of which obviously this is. And I think that first section kind of connects very well with the second half of the track. I will admit that I still do, however, I enjoy when Mike Oldfield specifically kind of stays in one lane, at least for a longer period of time, before moving on to other things. For example, the second half of this track is very much staying in the same lane. There's, of course, dalliances and he dilly-dallies into other places, but it kind of stays in that same spine, in that same lane as he moves forward in the second half. The first half, there's like 3 or 4 different subsections, basically, and the transitions are just kind of cut and dry, which some may like, some may not, depending on how it's done. Personally, I like a little bit more of a transition rather than a just straight cut, but that's just me. And because the sections are so different. So the first half, I think it's cool how he kind of, what I would say, engages in more of his rock side. Especially when he first comes in singing, what's the lines he's singing? I mean, just the title of the song, Crises, You Can't Get Away. He's really just indulging in his rock sound. And in that section specifically, it's very much a hard rock sound. He like goes down that route. While in the second half, he kind of goes to the more experimental, more, I would say, melodic, and kind of grows from there, a more progressive electronic bass kind of sound. And I like how when I'm listening to the second part of this track, I was kind of thinking like, obviously it sounds very much Mike Oldfield. You can immediately tell by the way he's playing, but also it's kind of reminding me of like Genesis a little bit, a little Tangerine Dream. I really like the way that he layers the synths and the sequencers. You know, that sequencer is pretty much the heartbeat of the second half of this track. And I like how he plays upon that. And I do see here, the drumming on this track is performed by Simon Phillips. Okay, well that makes a lot of sense, right? Incredible drumming. I mean, stunning drumming. I love how, let's take the first half of the track out because the drumming's good, but it's pretty straightforward. However, in that second half, it's experimental a little bit. The drumming has this kind of tribal feel, which I think is incredibly powerful. The floor tom specifically has this big rounded sound that you feel every time Simon hits the drum. You feel it. It's absolutely thunderous. And then moving into the sequencer synth-led section, I love how the drumming continuously goes and bounces back and forth from subtlety, production-wise, and mixed very much in the background with like a little bit of lighter percussive touch, kind of scattered around in the shadows in the back. And then in those, it comes forth back into the center stage, now with more traditional sounds on the drum sets, but bringing it that much more intensified. And that continually goes back and forth, and each time it seems that Simon's adding a new element. For example, that crash that eventually comes in, that very clangy sound that I mentioned, that not like that exactly, but you know what I mean? Like, he just brings in more elements as he goes. The fills become much more rapid, much more intensified, and before you know it, the storm explodes into this synthy, electronic-y, guitar epic-y thing. Right? Insert your adjectives and your nouns of choice, but it is verbing all the way to the house. And it feels really good. It feels incredibly earned. You guys saw me. I was doing the the drums with the tension. This was the tension that was just brewing and brewing, and you felt it. You knew that release was coming. And I'm really glad that release we did. Oldfield singing. I do see that it's going to be him that's singing on these two tracks. I'm sorry, not these two tracks. I think of this track as like two parts basically, but one track. I think his singing's adequate. I think it works better in the second part, but maybe that's just because of my bias and how I feel about the second part. But it's completely adequate in what he's barking out in the first as well. Definitely a clear contrast from the early days of his caveman vocals on Tubular Bells, but adequate nonetheless. The lyrics, there's not really a ton to look at when it comes to lyrics in the first part. Crises, crises, you can't get away. Crises, I need you on my side because there's a crisis. You can't get away. Which he just repeats over and over. And I mean, maybe we'll look at the Wikipedia page to see. Maybe it gives us some insight into his mental state at this point. But maybe he was feeling in crisis. Maybe like the album cover there, he was feeling like the city is gone and he's just alone. You know, last man standing on earth or something. Take a walk until the next dawn in the winter, rain, and storms. Isn't that an Enya song? No, it's Winter, Rains, and Trains. I think that's the Enya song. Anyways. The watcher and the tower waiting hour by hour. There's a breach in the security, a disturbance in tranquility. The watcher and the tower waiting hour by hour. Which that works definitely with the album cover here. The watcher and the tower. And they're waiting for something. Perhaps at this point, Mike felt like he was waiting for something. He felt a breach in his security and a disturbance in his tranquility. While we're here, let's go ahead and look, right? Let's look at the, here, see, let's see, the beginning and the end. Oh yeah, and you do hear some Tubular Bells there in the beginning. I totally forgot to mention that. Oldfield rated Crisis as one of his best tracks he had done since Tubular Bells. That's kind of cool. Which, like I said, that second half definitely is. It says that the album as a whole reached number 6 on the UK albums chart and became his most successful record following the release of a track on the next side of the album. Let's see. By the time he finished, I want to see. Crises sees Oldfield explore heavy metal elements, which he had been a fan of for some time and enjoyed playing. Oldfield, I said Oldfield. Oldfield described side 1 as material that he had wanted to write and perform for personal satisfaction. That's a great mentality, especially for Oldfield at this point, right? While side 2 is very commercial, full of singles, he added, it's a case of keeping everybody happy. I think that's very genuine and very honest of Oldfield to say and admit. Like, side 1, this is my personal project. This is like what I like. This is for me. Side 2, this is for you. I think that's very honest and giving. You know, obviously he's always making the music for himself, but like I just like that way that he divided that himself. It says the North American version of Crisis features a different running order to capitalize on the commercial songs by switching the order of the sides and adding a non-album single as well. Because, you know, we got to simplify it for us over here and do different things to get our attention. It says Tama drums were Simon Phillips' brand of choice for drums on the album. Phillips also did some production work. Oldfield makes extensive use of Oberheim and Fairlight keyboards. Asked how he recruited Chapman and Anderson in an interview, Oldfield answered, "We just hang around or hang out in the same bar." Because I do see down here on one of the tracks, High Places. You know who we're talking about. You know exactly who we're talking about. And you know I'm excited to hear that and listen to that. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Press the like button. I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like there's something else I'm supposed to talk about, but there isn't. I don't know why. We went over the lyrics. Does it feel like something's missing to you? No, I went over the lyrics. I looked at the Wikipedia. I guess that is it. It just feels like something's missing. Anyways, obviously we'll listen to the rest of the album in the near future. But for now, please enjoy the rest of your day. Come back tomorrow, and I will see you all then. Something is off. Bring out the album.